Bitcoin is on the brink of its next bull market, and the bottom for Bitcoin could very well be in. In fact, there is years of data that we're going to be going over in today's video that support the idea that a bottom is in for Bitcoin and that the next bull market is just around the corner. So if this sounds interesting at all, make sure you stick around for the entire length of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. Now, to start things out, I don't know why there aren't a million other people talking about this information. I think it is so relevant, so useful, and it compares exactly what we have seen in several of Bitcoin's previous bear markets and several of its previous halving cycles to where we are at today. And I can just tell you right now, it looks astoundingly similar. So similar that anyone, no matter if you are brand new to technical analysis, you're going to be able to see some of this. Now today, I want to show all of the bullish evidence and information on Bitcoin, and then in Friday's video, I'm going to flip everything on its head and talk about the bearish side of Bitcoin and say, hey, this is why maybe the bottom couldn't be in yet. But let's talk about what the bullish aspects of Bitcoin are, because I think that they certainly outweigh the bearish ones. So if we are zooming out on Bitcoin, and let's just say that we are going to be looking at this on a monthly time scale, I think one of the best pieces of information that we can use here is looking at what Bitcoin has previously done on the RSI and what Bitcoin has previously done on the MACD. So if we're looking at Bitcoin's monthly RSI, you'll notice here that I've already drawn a little bit of patterns on this chart. I already have a couple of little drawings. So let's look at exactly what these are, because in 2013 and 14, this is when Bitcoin topped out at a record-hitting bull run at the time. So we came up here, we topped out at this level. Then what do you know, around 2014-15, the Bitcoin market bottomed at this exact level, around 43, 44 on the monthly RSI. Then about 4 years later, in 2017 and 18, the markets topped out again. And then in around the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, the Bitcoin markets bottomed at this exact same level. Then what do you know, around 2021, moving into 2022, the Bitcoin and the crypto markets topped again, and then they bottomed over here at this exact same level, which is where we are at today. So what we can see is that in the past, previous, whatever you want to call them, halving cycles for Bitcoin, we have always topped out at this level right up here. And then I'm going to move my head over a little bit. And then we have always historically bottomed over here for almost every single halving cycle in Bitcoin's history that we have a lot of data on. Now, does this mean that we are guaranteed the bottom here? No. Does that mean that the bottom is in? It doesn't have to, but what I think it does mean is that we are not very far away from a bottom on Bitcoin. So again, to make this even more clear, this is every time Bitcoin is topped, this is every time Bitcoin is bottomed, and what you can see is that there's a very clear and concise pattern as to where Bitcoin likes to bottom at, how many years apart they like to bottom. Again, we see that we topped out at 2014, 2018, and around 2022. And what do you know? We bottomed in 2015, 2019, and 2023. Each of these are separated by 4 years. They correlate in some degree to the halving, because the halving on Bitcoin works every 4 years. And I think that this is an essential piece of data that people tend to be missing right now. Now, on top of this, if this is supposed to be credible, then we should also be able to see this on a weekly timescale, and that's exactly what we see. It shouldn't look too much different. So what I want to do over here is just move ourselves down a little bit and look at these bear market bottoms in comparison to the bull market tops. And what we can see is pretty much the exact same thing. I'm going to move my head over just a little bit more again. But what we can see is that, again, the Bitcoin market likes to top out around this area. It happened in 2014. It happened in 2017 and 18, and then it happened again around 2021 and 2022. Now, when the markets bottomed, we can see the exact same thing. The markets like to bottom in a specific place for these kind of things. Now, what this does is this measures the relative strength of Bitcoin against itself. And so we can look over the test of time and say, okay, when Bitcoin's relative strength has been this high, it tends to top out. When Bitcoin's relative strength has been this low, it tends to bottom out. And what do you know? We came down to this level, and look at the bounce that we have seen on Bitcoin's weekly RSI. On the monthly, it's not nearly this big yet. But in the weekly, we are still in a very solid spot for Bitcoin. Now, if things start to fall or consolidate, then this will obviously consolidate as well. But this is just a little bit of a clue as to where Bitcoin is at right now. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about here is the MACD on the weekly and monthly timescale. So we just took a look at the RSI, but now it's time to take a look at the MACD. Because what we can see is that where we are currently at, we have not one, not two, but three higher swing lows on the MACD. This first one peaked down right here, second one peaked out right here, third one peaked out right here. So we have three higher swing lows on the weekly MACD. So we have to ask ourselves, when in Bitcoin's history have we seen three higher swing lows on the MACD like this? And if we zoom out, which we're going to have to do here, and we zoom over, we can see that, well, back in 2018 and in 2020, what do you know? Right here we have 1, 2, 3 higher swing lows, and right here we see the exact same thing. We see an ultimate swing low, a higher swing low, and then another higher swing low. So every time, and I think we even have another one, if we go all the way back to 2014, can't forget about that. If we go all the way back over here during this major market cycle, then what do you know? It's the exact same thing. Not one, not two, not, well, I was going to say not three, but there is three higher swing lows here. So there's a little bit of a pattern. There's a method to all of this madness that we see in bear markets. It can get crazy. Everyone's always going to call for a lower price. But here we are looking at the bottoms of 2020, 2018, 2014, every major dip that we've had in the foreseeable past of Bitcoin, and all of them have had triple bullish divergence on the MACD or three higher swing lows back to back like this. And then following this, it is the sign that the market is bottoming for Bitcoin and that the bull market is right around the corner. So if we go over and we switch this to the monthly time scale, so we're zooming out a little bit, we're getting a little bit more of the zoomed out picture. We can see that in 2014, guess what happened? As soon as this guy started to turn around, it was the beginning that the bear market was over and that the bull market was in for Bitcoin. And if we go to 2018, it's the exact same story. As soon as this MACD started heading upwards on the monthly timescale, it was the end of the bear market. As soon as this started heading back upwards during the 2020 Corona crash, it was the end of the bear market. And if we're looking at where we are at now, guess what? The MACD has already started rounding upwards as well, which could be a sign that this is the end of the bear market that we've all become so accustomed to. So again, to summarize everything, Bitcoin is always, and we'll visualize this as well, but Bitcoin has always bottomed out at the same area on the weekly and the monthly RSI. It's always formed three higher swing lows before bottoming out on the MACD on the weekly time scale. And it's always, as soon as it's turned around on the monthly MACD, that has always been a sign that a market bottom is near for Bitcoin. So I just want to show everyone, historically speaking, in 2020, in 2018, in 2014, in all of the major market cycles, these are all of the bottoming signs that Bitcoin has bottomed. And I already know there's going to be people in the video saying, but Brendan, this time's different. It's, it's a recession. It's this, it's that. I can tell you that as someone who's around for all of these market cycles, there is always someone telling me in the comments. You can go back to my videos from like 2018, 2017. There's people saying, Brendan, this time is different. There's regulation at play. China's banning Bitcoin. That's what people were always saying. And like India's banning Bitcoin in 2018 and regulation and mining. And it was this big thing. And here we are in 2022. People are going to say this time is different. Everyone, let me just say this as well. I'm going all over the place. But in 2018, everyone said Bitcoin had to hit $1,000. Here we are in 2022, and everyone's saying Bitcoin has to hit $10,000. I don't know why we think Bitcoin has to hit these round number bottoms. It doesn't make any sense other than it's just a flat number, so people are attracted to it because of like a psychological support level. But there's no evidence. In fact, Bitcoin is almost never tops out or bottoms out at a flat number. Everyone was calling for 100K as the top of Bitcoin during this bull market. Guess what? We never hit 100K. People were calling for the 1K bottom. We never hit it. And now people are calling for a 10K bottom. And the odds are, in my opinion, I don't think that we're going to hit it. I don't see any reason that we have to hit it. Now, is everything perfect in Bitcoin? Absolutely not. But historically speaking, this is all of the evidence, and there's a lot more as well. In fact, if we go, I almost forgot about this. If we go and we look at hash rate on Bitcoin, if we go to hash rate by mining pool, the hash rate by every single mining pool on Bitcoin is at all-time high. These miners, they are running right now. They're at all-time highs for pretty much every single pool. And even if we look at the overall Bitcoin hash rate, so just combining all those miners, guess what? That's at an all-time high as well, as of this year, as of the last week or so. So crypto as a whole here, it's on a tear. More specifically, we've done an analysis of Bitcoin here, but Bitcoin's hash rate's great. Its MACD is at a bottoming point. Its RSI is at a bottoming point. There's a lot of macro things that look really good here for Bitcoin. Now, again, all of this, everything's always 100% accurate until it's not, right? And I don't want to even say 100% accurate, but data like this is always accurate until it's not. So we're trading here. All we can do is run off of statistics to give us a probability, and the probability says that every time that these things have happened, the market has always bottomed. But there are no certainties in trading. So, nothing I say here is legal, financial, or tax advice or anything like that. But I just want to show everyone the evidence for the bullish things, because there's a lot of FUD going around. There's just a lot of bad news. It seems like the cool thing right now is to be a bear. But I think that this is the time to start being cautiously optimistic, because the signs are starting to become evident. Now, again, that's just my opinion on this. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you stick around for Friday's video as well, because in Friday's video, we're going to be going over the flip side of all of this. We're going to be talking about some of the bearish things that could be impacting Bitcoin's price, and might even say that the bottom isn't in. Now, I personally believe that the evidence is in favor of the bulls, but I think it's always important to look at both sides of this coin and understand what the other side believes and why they believe it. So in Friday's video, we're going to be playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, but I'm still on Team Bull in the long term of Bitcoin. I don't think it's all going to be flowers and roses. It'll probably be a pretty bumpy road to recovery, but I think the evidence is very clearly there, and I can understand why people are so bullish on Bitcoin at these current prices. So I hope all of you did enjoy. If you did, make sure you stick around, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see all of you in Friday's video.